Mind does matter. Mind is the maker. That was my title. Mind is the maker. And what will you make of it? What will you make with it? But I want to deal with a kind of metaphor that I think will give you something you can take home with you that you can use all the time. And the metaphor is a trip, a journey. Now, one of the first things that you do when you want to go someplace, when you want to take a journey, is you decide where you want to go. And then if you're smart like I am, you get out your GPS and you look for a road or a way. So I'm going to call it the God positioning system. And so you can plug in the God positioning system, any coordinates you want. And what you don't know until you start looking at the different choices that you get is that there are hundreds of roads already made for the journey you want to travel. There's no need to construct a road, they're already out there. All you have to do is to say yes to the journey. Now, there's several things you have to do before you can get on the road. You have to choose a road. Before that, you actually have to choose a destination. But before that, it's a good idea to gas up your car.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us have decided to go on a mental journey without enough fuel? Mm-hmm. What is the fuel? The fuel is the passion, the desire, the strength that you've got inside that says, I've got to get there. This is so important. That's the fuel. If you start the journey hoping to get fueled up as you go, you may, but it'll be a different journey than if you fuel yourself up with the idea of what it will be like, as Judith had us do. What would it be like for you to achieve your goal? What would it feel like for you to achieve your goal? Mm-hmm. Now, what I've noticed when I get on the road is it's my road, but there's a lot of other people on it. Mm-hmm. And they're all going places that look like the same place I'm going, but they're all going different places. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting when you're on this road to wherever you want to go, how many like minds you'll find that are different. How many like minds you find that will be supportive of you at the same time they're supportive of something entirely different and you have no idea where they're going. Mm-hmm. Have any of you found a car that is traveling at about the right speed you're traveling when you're driving, and you notice that they show the same kind of courtesy that you do, and you kind of make friends with them on the road, and you know, if they pass somebody, you make room for them to pass too, because you've gotten close now, you've traveled 50 miles together. Mm-hmm. They pulled into the gas station, you want to know what their family's been doing because you've gotten to know them. And they don't speak English, and they're going to a completely different place than you're going, and you had nothing to do with you, but they're on the same road. They're traveling the same places. You can borrow from them, you can share with them, you can have experiences with them, and it's important, and you don't even know them. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing, to pick a destination and then to notice when you're going someplace how many people appear to be going with you and actually are supporting you who aren't going where you're going. Everyone's going their own place, quite separately from you. All that's really required is that we agree to cooperate with each other on the road. So the mission is, this is where I want to go, and would you allow me the space I need to go there and not interfere? Wow, that's really huge. The biggest interference you're going to notice is not of the drivers, it's you. Starting to compete with that other car that passed you at a ridiculously high speed, and you're going to show him something. So you catch up to him only to find out that you're driving at a ridiculous speed. And you slow down and realize I don't need to be ridiculous here. Or the person who cuts you off and you decide that your journey is not as important as dealing with having been cut off and what that feels like. Have you had that happen mentally, where you have an idea and somebody cuts you off with their better idea and your idea is now gone because you're busy competing with them for the best, and you didn't hear my entire idea, which by the way, when I finish will be bigger than yours. It's amazing when we plug in our God positioning system and we're on our way, how quickly we become petty. How quickly we become less than. And I shared with you once before, it was so amazing to me. I pulled up to a traffic light to stop, and the car pulling up next to me was identical to my car, even the same color. And that person looked like he was having a better time driving than I was. He was having the life I wanted to have, but we were driving the same car. So to carry this metaphor further, it's also important to notice that on this journey that you're taking, that you've agreed to take because it's what you want to do, there are rest stops. How many of you allow yourself to have a rest stop? How many of you beat yourself up because you took the rest stop? I know I'm not doing what I should be doing. I can remember when I was much younger, wanting to stay ahead of the 11 cars I'd passed and not wanting to pull over even to go to the bathroom because they would catch up. You're thinking, how small is that? Well, you're a kid, you're competing. So rest stops are an important thing that you need to appreciate on the journey because they nurture you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of an important thing. So when you're on your way, and this is a day when you're not working toward anything that's going to help you achieve getting to where you want to go, your rest stop may be the biggest thing you could do to help you achieve getting there.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stretch your legs. You need to change your mind. You need to look around you. If you have a dog, you need to let the dog out and watch the dog run. You need to do something that you haven't done for a little bit so that you can get back in and drive and have the drive not drive you.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to have is your destination in mind and the journey there to be amazing. It won't be amazing if it's a competition, if it doesn't include you, if it doesn't allow you to grow you, it doesn't allow you to engage and connect. I hear it too.
Somebody's beefy smile.
It's okay, it'll go away. So, step one, if you're going to take a trip, decide where you want to go and understand that it may not be the best choice on the planet. It's just what you decided.
Mm-hmm.
Now, type in the coordinates, that is, go to the God space and say, how do I get there?
Mm.
And trust that there's a road already that's been created for you to be able to travel to go where you want to go. And trust that the entrance ramp may be difficult to get onto. And the exits may be confusing. And the rest stops may be not anywhere near as frequent as they should be.
Mm.
And the fuel will cost more than you hoped it would. But all that's true on this life journey. And if you know that, then you can begin to relax. Some of us will refuse to fuel with the wrong people. Really. Fuel where you can. Some of us believe that if anyone else is stuck on the road, that's an obstacle, rather than an opportunity for us to see how not to get stuck, or to help somebody get unstuck, because we need to practice.
Mm.
So while we're on the road, we might run into people, not literally, hopefully not,
Mm-hmm.
that need our support and help, that we can then take the time out to do that and not complain that we have lost our way, but rather recognize it's part of our way, that we belong to the universe.
Mm.
That it is not our highway, but we get to use it.
Mm.
The reason that we get what we want in the world is because the universe agrees with us. The highway agrees with us. It has lanes and we agree to stay in them, and if we stay in them and we don't do things that are going to be dangerous to other people, we get to go to our destination. Well, that would be true with you in just about every other area of your life. If you step on somebody on the way up, as you've already heard, very often they'll step on you later on when they get a chance.
Mm.
They won't forget because they're on the same highway. You may meet them at the next rest stop and they may remember you. And they may remember you as the person who flashed his lights and said, go ahead, get in, I understand you're stuck out there. Or they may remember you as the person who showed off that you could make sure they never got into the lane they wanted to be in.
Mm.
What will you do? How petty will you be? How great will you be? How generous will you be while you're on this journey?
Mm.
It's okay to get distracted. It's okay to take rest stops. It's even okay to get off the main highway and do some side trip explorations, because that may be what's required for you to nurture yourself and to nourish yourself. I discovered as a new writer that one of the things I can't do is write all the time. And I thought as a writer I should write all the time. I had no idea that when I stopped writing I would get better ideas that I could write later than the ones I had while I was sitting there waiting to write something really good.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is you need time out
Mm-hmm.
to have time in.
Mm-hmm.
You need time out to tune in to who you are on the trip. You need to be able to stretch, go different speeds, pull over, and enjoy. Those are all things that you would learn on the highway. And what's really interesting is you all have a driver's license for the highway we're talking about.
Mm.
And one of the things that I remember, because I've gotten tickets from time to time, is that when I went to court and the judge said to me, do you understand that driving in this state is a privilege? I said, no, I thought it was a right. He said, no, it's a privilege. The highway does not belong to you.
Mm.
You get to use it. Whoa. That's another way of saying that you belong to the universe. The universe doesn't belong to you. You share this universe. You share these roads. There's a need to be compassionate and caring at the same time that we're direct and specific and focused and aligned and working hard to get what we want. There's a need for us to pull over and let somebody else get by, to slow down when we need to speed up and not hang out in the passing lane because we've decided that's the lane that we should drive the right speed in so that everyone else can follow us. How many times have you done that? I'm going my pace and I think it's a universal pace. I've decided. We do that in a whole lot of different areas of our life. We do it with rituals, we do it with behavior, we do it with ideas, and it always has us come up short. So the idea is find your lane, make room for other people, stay focused on the destination enough that when you're taking a break, you know it's a break, and then be able to come back. Type in the GPS every now and then the same coordinates and see if anything has changed. See if anything has changed and they're going to recommend a different highway because there's conditions that you didn't know were going to be there. How many of us have said, that's what the GPS said and that's where I'm going to go? It says here you'll be in traffic for 4.5 hours. I know, but that's what it said. What about going another? I'm not going another way. This way is the only way. This is what I was taught in school. This is the formula that I learned. This is the way my parents did it. This is the way my family's always done it. Would you be willing to take a slight detour so you can get to where you want to go more easily, more quickly, more elegantly, more beautifully? No. I'll do it my way, and I'll complain the entire way that things are not right. There are so many highway choices, and we get to notice how we are on the highway. How many of us get on the highway, this highway of life, and try to find things to keep us busy because we're not that interested in life? Really, think about it. That here you are, you get up in the morning and think, how could I be distracted enough not to have experienced this morning? As opposed to, how could I experience this morning to its greatest depth? How could I experience it to its core? A lot of what meditation is getting back to basics. It's getting back to the you on the planet that says, that flower is blossoming, did you notice it? As opposed to, well, it'll be dead in a while, we'll have to take it out and replace it. Here we gotta go to Costco again. We can move ahead, we can move back, or we can move into. The real journey is picking a place you want to go and having the experience of getting there, of course, be everything. But it means persistence and it means passion. When we think about treatment as we teach it in the science of mind, see it. See it in your mind. Say it. Sense it. If you can see it, say it, and sense it, it's real. When you can make it real in consciousness, you can make it real in the rest of the world, or you can find it on your GPS. When you can see it in mind, you can say yes to it, you can sense it, but because the feeling is so good, it's so powerful. When you plug in the coordinates and you see the road, you'll notice you're not seeing the road, you're seeing the destination. And I don't think most of us think about that. When I've typed in a restaurant, it shows me the road to the restaurant. As soon as it shows me the road, I'm sitting at the table with the menu. I wouldn't be able to get there if I weren't. So what I want you to notice is you're seeing the thing, you're saying yes to the thing, you're sensing it with your whole heart, is what makes it so. Because that is the mind that makes things matter. It makes matter. It makes things literally happen. It is the chemistry of who you are. And it's confusing. We got on the I-95 today to come here. And I cannot believe how many cars there were on the road today that weren't coming here. They were all going the same way. Some of them even go off in the same exit. I thought, that's good. And then a couple of them even turned in this direction. By the time we got to the gate, we were the only one that had come this distance to this destination. But you know, everybody participated with us along the way. They're all participating with you. Everyone's with you on this journey. They're just doing their part of the journey. That's the part of the journey that you get to be on. So we're all together and we're separate. We're one and alone and isolated, and yet we're not. That's kind of a paradox. So how will we then acknowledge and recognize and pay attention to and enjoy the people that are on the road with us? Any way we can. All the ways you can. When I see somebody else driving a car like mine, I flash my lights, I wave, and I let them know that we've been family for a long time. And they look at me like, oh, yeah, right, wow, and they smile. Because they like being acknowledged for nearly anything. We like being acknowledged, whether we're going to a place that other people are going to, or whether we're going to a place where nobody's going. It's an important part. So, GPS, God's positioning system. You all have it. Plug in the coordinates, decide where you want to go. Ask yourself if you're prepared for it, if your vehicle is in good shape. The vehicle is you. What shape does the vehicle need to be in? Before I go for a long bicycle ride, I have really tight pants I wear to show how much I need to lose weight. And shoes, special shoes and a helmet. I have my bicycle uniform that I put on so that I can do my bicycle riding. I wouldn't put on a three-piece suit to go bike riding. Are you dressed for the occasion? Have you dressed your mind for the trip? Have you dressed yourself for the consciousness you need for the journey? I know for me, when I go on a journey, like on a car trip, until then, I can eat mostly vegetarian or grass-fed food. Cows that are grass-fed that think they're going to live a long time. Happy cows and happy chickens. I wouldn't eat anything else. As soon as I get in the car, it's Milky Ways, donuts, chips, soft drinks, garbage, and I love it. Hot dogs with way too much mustard. You're on your trip, aren't you? Yes, I'm on my trip. How many M&Ms did you get? Well, I got those along with the other ones we could eat. It's amazing. We have a diet for eating, for travel.
We do.
Yeah. When I'm riding, I'm really riding, I have a sandwich diet. It's like, oh, this is really good. I gotta make a sandwich. And I'm riding and I gotta have cheese on that sandwich. And then I write some more and I gotta have soup. Okay. I have a whole different diet for riding than I have for driving. What's your diet for consciousness? What's the diet you have that you're on for where you want to go? Think about all the conditions that you're going to have to overcome or that are going to support you on this trip. So take a look at the vehicle. It's a great vehicle. Fuel it up. If you can, find anybody who wants to go with you. They can share the driving. They can share the story. They can share the invention of the experience. That'd be great. Then travel with them. If you can't travel with anybody, see if there's anybody having a near your experience. Travel near them. I do this when I'm driving long distances by myself, as I make friends, as I said, with different cars. And we'll go for 150, 200 miles. They'll slow down. I don't have a radar detector. I'll slow down. We'll see the police. We're in this together. We'll acknowledge each other. Thank you for looking out for me. And then I'll speed up and I'll get ahead of them and I'll forget, and then they'll flash their lights. Oh, that's right, you've got a radar detector. And I'll drop back. We're having a long-term relationship here. Isn't it interesting how little it takes? In a kind of way, if you think about it, we're not real different than dogs when they go to the park. They run up to each other. You're a big dog. I know, I'm a small dog. Yeah, but let's just run. And they decide to have the park as a place to play together. And what they do while they're there is magical. Make your drive a magical drive. Bring the mystery and the magic to your drive. Bring you to the drive. Type in your GPS coordinates and let everybody know where you're going and tell them how excited you are to be going there. And then watch what happens. And if you have an extra seat, let me know. I'll go with you. Thank you.
Thank you.